So first of all, I wanted to ask how many people read the book. Now, there's the thing, because I myself I started the book. I'm currently at page I'm at page 75. I try my best to make sure I can finish it before now. I was like, oh no, I wish I could finish it before now. But anyway, I know I'm still gonna have to read the book fully and communicate and give a review on English literature. That's separately. But then I couldn't finish the book. But the few ones I read are quite very beautiful. So I wanted to ask who else read the book. Ulato Sidi read the book. Stephen and Efwa and Silent as well. I'd love to hear from you guys if you read the book.
Okay, I read the book. I started reading like a week ago, but I'm not done. I'm halfway across the book.
Okay. Efwa, Silent, Mr. Stephen.
I I got the book yesterday, and I'm on page 70. I think so far it's really good. I yeah, because I want to read it. The introduction made me want to read it because obviously that's what I sort of talk about and write about sexual abuse.
Yeah.
So that's what interested me.
Uh,
At first I thought, is this a real life story? And they're saying it's fiction, but I feel like the story didn't match the intro. I was the story's about vampires, basically, and the intro was about sexual abuse. So I was thinking the book was more along that line. So maybe I've got to read the rest of it to get the full picture. So that is what I'm going to do because I'm still interested. It kept me interested, and I'm not really a reader, to be honest. I'm a writer, but I'm not a reader. So for me to want to pick up the book and read the title that the backstory made me want to read it. So that's saying something. So that takes credit to yourself.
So, actually, a fun little tidbit is some of these things in my book, they do come from real life. Like, um,
mm,
the
Yeah, I felt
yeah,
that.
like the prologue, that was
Mm,
that was originally a therapy exercise that I actually did that I wrote about my mom. And then in chapter one, when Amy is like, sweet, frail old woman, copy and pasted from an actual text message that my cousin sent me.
yeah, I felt fiction.
Yeah.
Essence, being honest, it's real. Yeah, so I'm going to finish the book.
I can personally say that it's really interesting to like when you can tell the tone. Like you can tell when there is emotion based off of reality. The change in writing you can tell is there because then you can feel like this is far too real to be simply fictional writing.
Mm.
It's kind of fun to like peek into the cracks there. And for me myself, I'm not really much of a romance reader myself. However, I will say the Dead Soul series definitely fits my certain branch of romance that I'm looking for.
I love the way Rivers is blushing in there.
I have such bad imposter syndrome, so hearing all this, it's like I actually did something
And I love what you said, Silent, because I remember reading one of your works in one of Adrian's anthology, and it was quite very beautiful. And I love the fact that you had to mention that this is part of the things you write in the themes, and you're able to relate with it, etc. That's quite beautiful as well. Yeah, I didn't. I think I said I stopped at page. I have it marked on my bookmark page. I actually printed the book out because sometimes I have issues with reading on computer with my eye. So I printed it out. I'm currently at page 75. I'm still gonna have to. It's actually quite painful to me that I couldn't finish it up before now because I actually wanted to finish it before the book club. I was like, oh, okay. I couldn't do that before. 75 so far. It's been amazing. I love the description. I love the characterization. I love Quine. Is it pronounced as Quine? Quinn. That again, I love the character. I love the character Quine. I love Ryan. I love the other people in there. More like it's vampire love story. Though I'm really looking forward to see how the story unfolds, yeah. For the fact that I keep reading it over and over again. And I'm looking forward. I'm not actually looking forward to Quine killing Ryan. I'm just looking forward to where the story is leading to. I'm looking forward to see what is gonna happen, what is gonna become of Ryan, if this cold-blooded crazy vampire is going to eventually kill this young lady or eventually fall in love with her. And the character I hate the most is what's that guy's name? Hold on, let me look for him. I don't like him. Let me look for him. That's Quine's friend.
Luke.
Lucas. Lucas. I don't like
Yeah.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Lucas
Oh
is
no.
such Lucas is such a very funny and oh no, I don't like Lucas. I don't like him for anything. I don't like
Oh, somebody's already commenting Lucas.
somebody is laughing. Tega is laughing. I don't like Lucas. I don't like the fact that he had to keep reminding Quine to, what are you doing with her? Are you not done with her yet? Have you executed? Have you killed her yet? Oh damn! I'll be like, what the hell is wrong with Lucas? Lucas is an angry beast on the lookout for food, on the lookout
Yep.
for killing humans. Anyhow, I don't like Lucas for anything. Yeah, then I think Lucas and the father. Okay, I'm coming back to that really, and I have some question. And the fact that he hilariously take pictures every now and then is so annoying, so annoying. I want to take every single damn picture. You want to eat, take a picture. But that actually reminds me of how human being goes to restaurant and take picture before eating. So I kind of related to that. Okay, I think this guy is taking picture whenever I want to eat because we human also sometimes take picture whenever we want to eat. But I was like, that is so crazy. Yeah.
Oh my God, I never thought of it like that. It's like being a little Instagram bunny. For me, Lucas is like the gremlin character in that sense.
Yeah.
He is absolutely insane, a little bit too trigger happy, and but even so, I still love him as a character. Like a
Has
little
he
too
got a
much
spot
there
for
because
Natalie? Lucas.
What?
Has Lucas got a spot for Natalie?
Mm, got a
Yeah,
few. Got a
yeah.
few though.
Okay.
So yeah, Lucas has been a character that's actually been in my head for a very long time. I've kind of had him in my head since high school. He's always been this just very like outgoing, chaos person. And it's one of those things where it's like you have these characters in your head, and the way I write, I take my time and I kind of get to know them like I would just any other person. I just kind of let them do their thing, see what they do. And Lucas, um, again, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but he shows some incredible character growth throughout this series, throughout the universe. I think the people who are he's so annoying, there is so much more to Lucas. And you're gonna find out, and then I think by the end of the series, you're gonna be loving him so much.
Wow.
one thing that I've actually really liked in the in River's books is, for me especially, the progression of the cover art, especially of Death to the Soul, because I actually have with me here two copies of Death to the Soul.
Let me
Wow.
go grab my mid copy.
So for me here, I actually have the first original copy with very different cover art to what there is now. And this was done by a different artist at the time.
Wow.
But I would say this is like the oldest copy of Death to the Soul, just because of the older cover art. But for me personally, I love the new cover art for the new hardbacks and whatnot. It makes it stand out.
Wow.
I agree. I totally agree.
I also got so this is like the second cover that I did. So it goes from this to this to this.
Wow.
Oh my God. I just actually thought of it. It's like you have Death of the Soul, first edition.
It's so funny because so with the first cover, people were kind of like, "Oh, it's so much going on." And then when I redid it, people were still like, "Oh, it's got so much going on." So then I switched the covers completely. And then some leftovers of I had some leftovers of this copy of this cover,
Yeah.
and I had these copies out at my book table, and people came up and they're like, "That's such beautiful artwork," and I'm just like, I know, it's beautiful artwork, but you know, um, but no, I do actually have some merch. I'm trying to figure out how to set up a merch store, but what I've been doing is I've been making, like little keychains out of these old covers because we got a cover for this, cover
Wow.
for older cover for Quinn's backstory, and then an older cover for A New Night, and all these are now keychains. And I'm trying to think of what else I can make merch from it so that because I do like the covers. I think they look cool, and they're a part of the Dead Souls history, so I wanted to preserve that.
Yeah, that's good. F, I would love to hear your take. I know you've read the book and you left a review on the group. I would love to hear your take on the book rather.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I would love to hear your take, please.
My background is noisy, so I'll prefer typing.
Oh, really? Can we all see the text? Can we all see the text in the Zoom section?
We could hear it perfectly. We can't hear no
I
background.
can actually see where you typed
I
Tom
got
Lucas is just a sick, hungry vampire, plus he has to take photos for the grams.
For the gram.
Yes,
It's just a sick, hungry vampire.
he's just a little baby. He's just a sociopath. Just a little sociopath.
Okay, I think it's a bit calm. Don't mind me. They're playing football outside. That's why I was like, it's a bit noisy. Okay, for me,
Yeah.
I had to like read the book repeatedly.
Wow.
I love reading. Like I really enjoy reading. So for me, the whole, how will I put it? At first, when they sent the book to the group for like dark romance, I was like, okay, it's been a while I read dark romance. I was like, hey, okay, let's get into it. Then I started the intro. I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to cry all through this book. I was like, I think I'm going to cry all through this book. Okay, let me go get my handkerchief. But it wasn't what I expected. I felt it was going to like, how will I put it, pull at my heart. Like I said earlier, and I was like, at first, the intro that they gave in the group, I was like, well, like dark romance. I was like, okay, it's been a while I read dark romance. Nice. Like, okay, let me read it. Immediately, I just started reading it. Then the first page, the introductory page was like, I'm coming, I'm with my tab, I'm trying to go there. Like, there it is in both letters. I was raped, and I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. I was like, okay, after reading the whole thing, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. I felt like, okay, I need to get my, it's going to be a very, very bumpy read. I was like, okay. But as I continued reading the book, I realized that there was no need for a handkerchief. Don't mind me. I thought I was going to get the whole gore, horror, crazy, crazy scene you get. Like, I was looking forward to some sort of actions. You get what I was saying? If you read dark romance, and one's usually mixed with paranormal books,
Yeah.
you kind of like, they are usually a little bit crazy. That's like some persons online barely read it. They're always, yeah. If you want to go online and post, I love this kind of review, they'll look at you as though you're a little bit, yeah, I will not say the word though. So, but for the book, let's leave my personal opinion. For the book, I'd say my favorite character is Lucas.
Wow,
I don't know.
really?
Like,
Yeah, it's
I
the
feel
most.
I like Lucas. I love Bada. He just being himself. Or maybe because I kind of like resonate a bit like with Lucas, I'll tell you, I'm sort of person like, I don't know how to mean sword. I'll tell you like, Alpha, what have we? Lucas was always disturbing you. Bring her, what are we eating? When are we feasting on her? You get stuff like that. Moreover, I love his relationship with the zombie. I love the way the relationship progressed. I think her name is Taylor, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Taylor?
Natalie?
Yeah, thank you, Natalie.
Natalie.
Yeah, yeah. I love his relationship with Natalie. I love the efforts, like the effort he went, like in order to prove to her that he loves her. He's that kind of like off, like this hard guy that you'd be like, okay, this guy does not have a tad bit of emotions, but he's actually a softie to those he care about. You get. Then for Queen and is it Ryan or Ryan? Can you pronounce the name properly? The
So you
girl.
have Quinn, and then you have Rian, like Rian.
Okay, Ryan.
And
Yeah.
is it
So
Quine or
Queen and
Queen?
Ryan's relationship,
Okay.
I actually feel it was rushed. Like,
Mhm.
I actually feel like, how will I put it? Yeah, it was rushed. Like, aside him there for her, a stranger, total stranger. Yeah, we all started as strangers. Yeah, I get that part. But I
So,
just feel okay. You took her to his house. After that, don't go back to your house. And she was like, okay, I'm not going back to my house. I was like,
Right.
well, you never can tell. Could be
like
lost.
why?
So
Okay.
actually a reason I kind of made their relationship go super fast. And the reason is because both of them have a lot of severe trauma. And I've had experience with
Mm.
this where I will like before I was married, obviously, I would fall head over heels in love with someone really fast. And that was actually part of it did go fast. That was on kind of realism to how and some of these relationships can be really toxic. And like you unless you have both people working really hard to make the relationship healthy, it could really make or break the couple and even the people as individuals. So you're right, it is rushed. And yes, I did that on purpose because that is, that's unfortunately how it happens a lot with people who've gone through severe abuse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last but not the least, because I think I might still have another question to ask as we proceed. Should we, your readers, yeah, I'm part of your readers since I read this, should we expect a book of Lucas and Natalie?
Yes. I kind of already have one. It's a little spin-off to A New Night. It's called Blood and Brains. So it's a spin-off to this one. I don't have a copy of the book with me at the moment, but it's called Blood and Brains. In A New Night, I really didn't have much for Natalie to do, so and I mean, here's the thing with Natalie. She's really smart. She gets stuff done. So if I had her in A New Night, it would just make things too easy for my characters.
Yeah.
It just would make it way too easy. She is a goddess. She is a superwoman. But so I kind of sent her away. And when I was finished with A New Night, I was like, what was Natalie doing? So then I kind of made the novella Blood and Brains, and that focuses a bit on like Natalie, Lucas, and her brother Kevin. Um, also,
If y'all can,
yeah,
sorry, if y'all can give me a minute, I can go ahead and grab my copy
yeah,
of Blood and Brains real fast, and I'll be
Yeah,
right back.
no
and
problem.
also down the line, there is going because this is a universe, because it's a multi-series universe, there is going to be Into the Darkness, and Into the Darkness is going to have backstories for my characters. It already has quite a few backstories. Like we've got Quinn, we've got Lance, and I actually am I actually have the first draft of Lucas's backstory written, his full backstory written. So you're gonna get to see where Lucas came from, how he became the person
Mhm.
he is in Death to the Soul, and yeah, and then after the Dead Soul series is finished, there's gonna be a another series called Into the Light, and that series, Lucas and Natalie are gonna be front and center. Rianne and Quinn are going to be more side characters, but Lucas and Natalie, they're going to step into the spotlight for that for most of that series. And it's gonna be a lot about them just like trying to connect as a couple, but a lot of things keep getting in the way. Not going to give any spoilers about what those things are. But yes, there is going to be a huge deep dive into Lucas and Natalie.
Yeah, I honestly did not expect Lucas and Natalie to get their own little spin-off story, but I personally really enjoyed it because it allowed these characters to grow outside of their relations to Quinn and Rianne and allowed them to actually get their own time in the spotlight as characters. So if after A New Night you want to see more of Lucas and Natalie, would definitely recommend picking this one up.
All right, thank you. One more question. Sorry. In the book, remember I said that I was expecting extra drama, I was expecting action, I was expecting gore, horror, and the rest of them. The fact that you toned it down, was it intentional?
Um, some of that was intentional, and some of it also was just like this first book is like just the beginning to a whole freaking universe. So it was a lot of just me kind of getting to know the characters. There's definitely a lot more gore in my other books. It's honestly kind of funny because because it just shows me how different people experience the world from each other. Because like so I've heard some people saying, "Oh my gosh, I love that there's so much gore in this book." And then you have other people who are like, "There was too much gore in this book." And like you said, why'd you tone down the gore? And it's just like I mean, did I intentionally tone down the gore? Not really. I just kind of sat down and I wrote. I didn't want to make it too much. So I guess I kind of tempered myself because I wanted to be able to like explore the characters, get to know who they are, but yeah, no, it's just it's funny because every time someone comes at my books, they walk away with something very polarizing character. Some people walk away like, I love Lucas, and other people walk away like, God, he was so annoying. Why would you write that? Like, I wrote it, he was in my head to come out. Lucas busting out. But he's gonna have so much character growth, like so much. And like I said, like when you see where he started out in his backstory, when I get that published, you're gonna really see like how he became the person he was. And I'm not gonna give spoilers, but you're also gonna get to see kind of in the Dead Soul series where his heart is, where his heart really has been, and you're going to see kind of him trying to start to regain some of the stuff he's lost from after, you know, becoming a vampire. So it's it's going to be a lot.
Okay.
And I think there's a second series to the book, I think.
Yeah, there's so the series in this universe, because like I said, it's a universe. It's kind of like how Marvel has these separate series and they all come into one. That's kind of how it works. That's kind of the layout. It's very Marvel. And so we have the Dead Soul series. That's this one, the Dead Soul series. Then we have Into the Darkness, which is stories. And we also have the Shadow Soul series. And the Shadow Soul series, this one actually takes place after Quinn's backstory. It was originally supposed to be just one novel. It was supposed to be just one novel to show what happens after Quinn's backstory to Quinn. But then, and book series, I was never intending for that to happen, but it just came out, and then got and it's just because I want to give enough to each character because some of these characters are so interesting. They have such rich backstories, and I wanted to dig into that. And I wanted to dig into their own relationships with each other, the relationships with their families. And I really wanted to give enough page time to these characters, but sometimes I wonder if it's a little much, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how.
I will personally say, from having read most of the books, if you want more of an action-based series, I would definitely recommend picking up the Shadows series, which currently there is about 3 books out now. I have ordered the third one already. I've got the first 2. And of course, here's my own copy of book 1, Shadow's Embrace.
Wow.
And I like how this one is changing theme because while it does still have the vampiric drama and all that stuff, as well as the good old fashioned horror and a bit of gore,
Okay.
it also has a more battle focused story because this is literally showcasing the vampires versus werewolves war in the new world.
Yeah. I can't stick to one genre. I have too much fun exploring different genres, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna put all this in one universe. And the other thing too is like if you do like more action-packed things, but you're not really into romance, well, you can read this series and still get an awesome full experience.
Wow.
If if you only like romance, you could read the Dead Soul series and just stick to that series and still get an awesome romance. Or, if you like more like horror drama, then, you're going to want to read Into the
Wow.
Darkness, particularly the English vampires, and you'll still get a full awesome story. So you can kind of like whatever you're in, you can pick the series and get that full picture. And then if you want all of it, you get this like multi-genre epic watching multiple gens. So the English has this is a compilation of Max, Lance, Cora, Midnight Kiss, and Quinn. And
Wow.
in Max's back, you see Quinn's grandfather. Quinn's grandfather is the big baddie. And then in, kind of like in Cora, you also see a little bit of Quinn's father and how and you can see the generational trauma getting passed down through this line. And then you come to Quinn's backstory and you can see the person his father has become, and you can understand why his father is the way he is, given the fact that how he was raised. It shows the cycle of abuse, and it's multi-generational. And then that also, you can also see how Quinn came to be the person he is in Death to the Soul. So I really try to paint a very complete picture of these characters, going into their family lineage, and just showing how the actions of their
It's exciting. She said, I have run out of questions for now. P.S. I love your Stitch plushie. You should have said that yourself, Efwa.
with your to know how much it means to me that you took the time to read my books. Like, thank you.
Yeah, that was exciting. Thank you so much, Efwa. That's an amazing review. Now, I'd love to go to the next person. I don't know who would love to talk. Mohammed Obari, are you there? Daniel, would you like to give your own review or feedback of the book? Please indicate if you love to, or signify rather. That's the right English, the right word. Daniel Obari, are you there? Danny, are you there? Mohammed Obari, are you there? Who would love to go first? I think we've gotten Oluwatosin. Oluwatosin, I think are you done with your review already? And I think we've gotten that of Sarlin as well. I'm not sure if Daniel or Mohammed Obari is on.
I would like to say something.
Okay, let's go. Adrian.
I don't normally read fiction books as a rule, but written.
Thank you.
I think this book is amazing. I'll be honest with you, halfway through it, and I've been reading it today, and I didn't want to come to the book club because I wanted to just finish the book. Like it's amazing. Like I like the way like you develop the characters. I like the way that you've put like everything together. I like your introduction. I like the way you wait like you let everything like develop, and you don't give like it to everyone like too early. Like you keep them going along and along and along and along, and then even when I get to the rest of the book, I still don't know like everything. And I like how you've like done all the other books and created the whole world. Like I think it's absolutely amazing. Like I've read a lot of books, and like this book really touched me. So I'll just carry on. You're doing awesome.
Thank you. And one of the things I wanted to be really intentional about with my books, it's very strange because a lot of times, like, this is a vampire romance, and the people who I've seen have the strongest reactions to this book, like big emotional reactions, are older men. it's led to some very interesting conversations. And I asked them like, okay, so how did this book touch you? This is a vampire romance book. What are you getting out of this? Because older men were not my target audience, but conversations I have with them, it all comes down to the fact that they saw Quinn as a strong, very strong leader. He's masculine, he's a man, and he shows a lot of emotions, and he cries, and he leans on Rianne for support, and he has these big emotions. But that does not take away from the masculinity. That doesn't take away from him being a man. It's not put in a light of shame. It's not meant to make fun of him. Um, he is still empowered in his masculinity. And I didn't even know that I was touching on these topics until these older men were reading my books and pointing out like how deeply that touched him. And it even led to some very, very gut-wrenching conversations of men sharing their own stories of sexual abuse and saying how deeply they can relate to Quinn. And it always is just so eye-opening and shocking. And it's like, I mean, the issues between the genders is so complicated and nuanced, and it bothers me how it kind of gets boiled down into these very simplistic terms, because it's not gender versus gender. It's a person by person basis. There are some extremely toxic men and women out there. There are some extremely toxic men out there, and there are some very, very toxic beliefs about masculinity out there. And those things need to be talked about and condemned. But, I do believe there needs to be room for men to be able to express their emotions without being shamed, without being, being made to feel like less of a man. And like I
Yeah.
said, just having these conversations has been eye-opening. And like I have experienced some absolutely disgusting, detestable, vile men, violent, awful men, like the kind you see a lot of people ranting about on Facebook. Had these incredible conversations with older men who have just been given so many toxic ideas, and it hurt them. And the fact that they were able to connect with my characters on such a level because they were able to show that emotion, because they were able to be vulnerable without having their masculinity taken away from them, it's just, yeah.
It's like you say, it's like a fiction book, but there's a lot of you've addressed a lot of real issues there,
Yeah.
and that's awesome, because I think that's what we need to do,
Yeah.
and it's good for the children as well.
Oh yeah.
I think it's awesome. Well
Thank
done.
you. And that's the other thing, is like sometimes that's why fiction is so important, because sometimes like these issues can be so hard to talk about when you're talking about yourself, like trauma. It's hard to talk about your own trauma, but it's easier to talk about like Rianne's trauma or Quinn's trauma. It can be hard to talk about, hey, I feel like I can't express my emotions, or I want to, I want to be able to be vulnerable in this way. And so instead of maybe talking about your own stuff, you can kind of open up the conversation by talking about my characters, and then that can lead to more productive conversations, because this stuff is hard, it's complicated. And like I said, like fiction is really important for fostering empathy towards ourselves and other people. So everyone underestimates how important stories like this are.
It's true. It's true.
I think, in all honesty, if I could throw in my own 5 cents here,
Okay.
it really highlights just how much people, especially when River said how it touches older men. I think it's because, in that sense, we've grown up in the environment where we've been constantly told to, in my personal experience, to dry it up. As I've been told by my dad to just dry it up, move on, everything else. But in this case, it's just we feel seen in the fact that we go through our own traumas as well.
Yeah.
In that sense, it allows us to be able to hold on to our image as a man, but also know that it's okay to have vulnerabilities. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel things and not be this constantly marching forward golem of a character.
Yeah. And like I said, like that, I didn't even know I was writing I didn't even know that was gonna touch so many people in that way. I think because one of the things I was very intentional about was I didn't look at my characters as like just men and women and trans and non-binary. I looked at them as people. So that's how I wrote them. I wrote them as people. And I think that's one of the things that really helped me to give it that depth because I mean, for a few of my characters, I really did struggle with like getting around some of these cliches, you know. And I remember in the beginning of the stages of writing, some of my characters were starting to fall flat. But then I was like, okay, hold up, hold up. Why are these characters falling flat? And I course corrected and I gave them more depth. Um I gave them, you know, things that kind of went against traditional, you know, like cliches for whatever group they fit into. And I wanted to really show them as people, that they are fully formed people first. Doesn't matter, you know, and it's again, it's just been so eye-opening and it's led to so many incredible conversations.
That was impressive. That was really impressive, really. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that we could paint in and find how relatable some of the character stories are. Um, One of the ones I would love to talk about is Rayan. Rayan. And I think
Yeah.
things like this, we have some people that actually pass through similar issues with Rayan, whereby you grow up in a dysfunctional home with an abusive parent. I've not really got into the deep section to know actually if a mother was actually abusive, but I think I read a part where she was having a conversation with some of her friends, and some of the friends mentioned that her mother wanted a good relationship with her before she passed on, etc. Was she able to forgive her, stuff like that. I'm not quite sure really. I really wanted to have a much more deeper idea into what actually led into the like the dysfunctionality between the mom and herself.
Yeah.
And I wasn't so excited that the brother, I mean, this is an event, this is a funeral going on, and you had to treat your sister that low
Oh
by
yeah.
beating her in face of they are not supposed to be boyfriend actually, but
Yeah.
in face of her to be or upcoming boyfriend, so to call. Yeah, without any sense of remorse. That's actually very bad. And I mean, the whole atmosphere around the funeral was something quite quite shocking, I'd say. Yeah, but then the conversation into what actually happened in between the mom and Rand characterization. It's something I love to hear more about. Somebody say Miles is a bully. Kristen
Yeah.
said Miles is a bully.
Well, like I said, so Rianne's gonna get
Nah, I do agree. Miles is definitely something of a character.
he's based on he's based on my actual brother.
Really?
Yeah.
One of them is an absolute. Yeah, I have two. So I was adopted from Moscow, Russia. Yeah, Miles is based on a real person, and that real person is a uh,
Wow.
donkey. Trying really hard not to swear. I don't know if I can swear here.
Wow. That's so sad to know, really.
John's gonna end up alone someday. Someday John's gonna end up very alone, and he will have no one to blame but himself.
Hey, River, look at chat.
What's up with the chat? Your brother, my goodness. So, oh, thank you. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I'm I'm actually surprised. I'm actually surprised to know about that, actually, Rivers.
Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised to know about that, really. And
What is that?
I'm curious to know how many more characters are actually based off factual event over fiction in your book. I'm curious if someone like Lucas is a real person, or if someone like Quine is actually a real person. I don't know.
Oh, yes. Okay. So Lucas, his I used to go to school with. The kid I used to go to school with was kind of a jerk, but he had this very like outgoing personality. I kind of for Luke bit, but Lucas, Quinn, Rhea, Natalie, they are Rand's mother, Anderson, Miles, Amy, and bet on like actual people. And then as you get later into the series, they are based on three when I was in it's an absolute basket case in college because of my abusive background. I didn't know how to socialize. I didn't know how to be a person. Yeah, so it was Karis, Sophia, and Sarah, I think. Yeah, Sarah. And they kind of took me under their wings, but I was never like really part of the group of girls. I think they saw me more as a project. I think they saw me more as someone they wanted to fix, someone they wanted to bring back to Christ or whatever, because they could kind of see I was starting to stray. And it it was so confusing because they kept having this big talk about how much they about how
Oh no.
close how close we were as friends, but their actions just did not line up with what they were saying. They would leave me out of certain things, and it just was very frustrating because I was never like actually part of the group, even though they said I was, and I couldn't really like, push back against that or try to get any real answers. But I kind of became so critical of the church, and they became very defensive about that, like really defensive to the point where we just kind of went our separate ways, and I was devastated. They got me to trust them. I cared about them. Um, and so losing them was like it was as painful. It was as painful, if not more painful, than like breaking up with a significant other because I truly came to love these women as my sisters. They because I mean it's like they were there for me, but it's like again I was that project to them, but I still was able to like get out of that. Like they let me stay at their dorm when things got rough at home. They kind of provided me a safe space, and it just kind of ended up with this like attachment on my end that probably wasn't super healthy. But then once they left, I felt so heartbroken and angry. And this was kind of around the time when I started writing Death to the Soul. So I wrote them in, and actually I'm working on a short story called Rianne's Victim, and we're gonna see where these three end up after Death to the Soul, like what happens to them after, because you'll get to see how they all kind of reacted to the things that happened. And because it's one of those things that's really complicated. They absolutely were not good friends to Rianne. They were not good friends to me. But it gave me the ability to kind of self-reflect on how I felt and kind of gave me that third person perspective. And they were absolutely shitty friends to me. Yes, they also gave me a safe space away from my family a few nights. They so just so many complicated feelings around that. And it's like I remember I went through a time where I wanted them to hurt like I hurt. I wanted them to understand how deeply I miss them, how hurt I was, and I wanted them to feel that same way. I wanted them to be punished, and I started writing this part, and I kind of punished them in the book, and I realized that that was kind of, and I was like, well, this is going to be great character growth for Rianne. This is going to be a great way to kind of show that yes, what they did was absolutely awful. They were jerks. Did they deserve what happened to them? Not entirely. Do I think they deserve to get off the hook entirely? No. But I also wanted to use that as a growth point for Rianne so that I could learn from her actions. It helped me to kind of put my anger in perspective about everything that happened, and kind of just working on Rianne's backstory. It's kind of giving me a better perspective of the ways I was toxic, and about kind of the role that I played in the breakdown of the friendship, because I was toxic. I went through a point in my life where I was really toxic. I still have toxic traits, but I'm working on them, and a lot of those toxic traits are a result of trauma. The trauma
Wow.
is not my fault, but it's my responsibility, and it's my responsibility to take care of, unfortunately. Is it fair? Absolutely not. But it's what I have to do, you know, and being able to um look at the ways where they, they hurt me. It felt like punching them. Yeah, yeah, it absolutely was very personal. They are based on three real people, and yeah.
I love your take. I love your take on that, actually. Um, I think we should be. Uh-oh. I think we should be trying to, while we are trying to wrap up already, I wanted to know if Mohammed Obari eh, would love to give his review, or if Jonathan would love to say anything. Mohammed, are you there? I'd love to hear your take on it, actually. I'm not sure if you read the book. Do you? Nope, I'm good for now. I appreciate the answers given. Okay. All right, I got you. The answers helped me clarify some point for me, which
I
is
see.
relationship and toxicity. The links to trauma to wonderful evening. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mohammed. Yeah, you wanted to say something, Rivers.
Awesome.
All right, so I just want to say I'm an unknown self-published author. I have a mission behind my work. I want my work to foster empathy in my readers, and I want it to foster empathy towards other people in my readers. I want my books to bring to light disturbing and hard topics to talk about in a safer way. I want my books to do good. I want my books to help people. I also have like self-help journals out, but I need people to be talking about me. I need more book sales. I need reviews on my books. I need people to be very vocal about this because again, I need that more like widespread notoriety. And the other thing is in the dedication of Death to the Soul, where it talks about Mr. Anderson, he runs a school with children in it. He's not a safe person, and I want to spread the word about this school so that these kids can be safe. And this disgusting person in charge, who's a real person who actually, there's so much I could say about this man, but for time's sake, I just I want to be able to um you know I'm able to keep the kids safe. And the best way to keep kids safe from predators is to shine a light on them and to say, hey, this person is not safe to be around children. And then the parents can kind of keep their kids away because this guy is in charge of a school. He's in
Wow.
charge of a school, and yeah, like he yeah, so that's so again, the dedication, it's to a real person. Anderson is based on a very real person, and I want these kids to be safe. And like I said, I need a platform to spread this information. I
Mm.
need a platform to be able to talk about this. And um I that's why people stepping up, leaving reviews, talking about this sort of thing, using my books to talk about these difficult topics. And yeah, yeah.
Thank you. That was quite amazing. Yeah, before we leave, please, I'd love to play the
Oh,
host
thank you.
audio. She sent an audio, she couldn't join because of the internet connectivity. There
Report
are
that man
several
to.
other people. Okay, Silent was saying something. Please go ahead.
Did you report Mr. Anderson to the
I
police?
did, but unfortunately, he's being very protected by the local police. So the whole thing about him, I don't know how much I can say. I try to censor myself for the sake of YouTube. But basically, Anderson is part of the actual Anderson. He's part of a hate group that's been getting some notoriety recently. And the local police, we think, are involved in that. We also think that he could be connected to some of to a specific trafficking ring. And yeah, so but unfortunately, the local police, they protect him. I mean, I've even gone to people in local government about it. And the people in local government the response I got from them was very much like, yeah, we know. Like the people know, but they're like, there's really nothing we can do about it.
Wow.
So there is something very sketchy happening that is not going to be taken care of by the authorities because it's kind of like an open secret. And like I made a random friend at a gas station one time. We were talking. He was working at the gas station, and I asked him, and we got to talking about the school, and he's like, "Oh, I know that school. I know that guy." I'm like, "Is he in?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, just without missing a beat, yeah."
Wow.
So it's not like he's keeping all this. None of this is a real secret. You can pretty much figure it out, especially if you're like in the area and you're local. But he uses these very predatory contracts to lock parents in and financially incentivize them to keep their kids in that school. He has like a trial period where if a new kid comes, he has a year where there's no contract, no obligations, and he uses that as kind of a test run to see what he can get away with. And if the parents kind of start catching on to him, the kid gets pulled out before anything happens, or he kicks the kid out before anything happens. So
Wow.
he really has built up this wall of very, very mentally ill parents. He's built up this wall of parents he can manipulate and he can get away with stuff with, and everyone else. So it's this really like disgusting filter system where he's able to do all this. But yeah, no, I want to be able to spread the word about this school. I want to be able to I want to be able to be talking about issues around like private schools in Illinois and particularly Montessori schools because there's no oversight because this man owns the business. There's no board of education to go to. There's no one holding this man accountable. It is an independently owned business that is a Montessori school because it's a, public domain name. And so yeah, there's no oversight. There is no one protecting these kids.
Wow. That's a lot, really. That's really a lot. That's
Yeah,
really a
and
lot.
like
I would love
yeah,
to play. I would
and
love
that's
to play
that's why I'm
Victory's. Sorry, sorry. I would love to play Victory's voice notes. She's supposed to be the host of the book
sure.
club, but she couldn't make it to the book club because of internet connectivity, Zoom disruption, etc. And I think there are even several other people who couldn't make it to the book conversation. We have about 10 people who read the book on the group, and they said they couldn't join. You advise them we use Google Meet the next time. I don't know. So I'm playing from my phone. I'm gonna.
Hi everyone, good evening. It's your host Victory. I am so sorry that I could not join, and I don't know, Zoom is, I don't know what's happening. It's just so crazy. I'm in the meeting and I'm out of the meeting at the same time. So I wanted to commend the author's work. Thank you for such a unique story. On my personal review, I'll say that I'm not so sure I really enjoyed the intensity because when Peter recommended book, he said dark romance. So I was up for all the single and all the vibe, but it was simple in its uniqueness. It was kind of basic. I wasn't feeling that rush of emotion with every chapter. It was just I feel like it's very more relatable to life than vampires, because for me, I'm a paranormal reader. I enjoy reading paranormals. And one thing about paranormals is that after reading it, you always want to be one of those creatures, whether the vampires or the werewolves, depending on what character was best, the villain or the hero. But I didn't really get that. However, I do enjoy the characters and I enjoy the dialogue from the transitioning in thought to the application in dialogue. I did enjoy that. The beginning was top notch, but I started losing my interest along the line because I was like, can this just happen? Can that just happen? And that leads me to my first question. Why is it intentional? Is it really intentional? Because I feel like it's intentional that you left the story to be, I don't know what word to classify it, but is it intentional that you left the story to be as simple as it is without adding too much drama? And also, what really was the inspiration to transition this into a vampire werewolf story? For me, I'd say if it were under another genre, or probably because of how it was hyped for the book community, that is why I am feeling this way because I was expecting so much. But what really is that inspiration, and was it really intentional that the story was that way? Also, I do enjoy the relationship between Natalie and Lucas, because hardly would you see that symphony between vampires and zombies. This is actually the first book I see that vampires have really close association to the point of mating with the zombies. I'm not sure they mated. No, they didn't mate in this book. Probably there's another book for that. But I enjoy it. It's very unique. I think that's something that really caught my attention and brought out that love for me, because zombies, vampires don't mix, but you found a way to bring this together, and really through their traumas, it really brought that closeness, closure they need. I'd say that's like a passing remark for me. Also, I was wondering, for Natalie and Lucas, do you intend to have a novel, separate story? I don't know if someone would have asked
I think some
this,
of these
but
questions you've answered them
Zoom is
actually.
not really letting me have the best of my day. So would there be like, you know, a
I think
thing? I
you've
think a
answered that
sequel to
question.
it. And
You have,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
if we were, I don't know, I just have this wild imagination. Anyways, if the reverse was the case and Queen eventually ate um Ryan, what would have been the outcome of the story? I'm sorry to ask, but I just, the drama, I'm in for the drama, but if the reverse was the case and, Queen ate Ryan, what would have been the outcome? Would there be another development of trauma in the story? And I like to say that for Mr. Anderson, I wished personally that there was an extra background story to some of the victims, and probably we did, I think towards the end there was this part where Queen called her to check the news, and they found out that he was associated with other rape stories. I wished that there was, in the book, I wish that there was an extra background story of some of these victims. I feel it would have added a little bit more flavor to the story, but it was good, but I wish, it's just, I don't know, I love imaginative reading, so I really wish that there were a little background stories with some of these characters, victims, and also kind of a background story to um, Rhiannon's mom, because she dying, receiving a letter like that, I wish there was like, I would have loved to see what her last days were like. I would have loved to see that tragedy in the last days that she had to go through. So I think that's basically my review and my question. And also, I don't know if I said this. Okay, I think I have. I think I have. Are there other of your books where there's like a lot of intensity and really so much darkness with the romance going on? Because I look forward to that. I really, really, really do. kind of a um cheers to this one. Thank you. I forgot this part. The torture for the three friends of Brian. I don't know. I didn't really find it so necessary because I feel that Rian was already going through that detachment process already. There was that emotional detachment and distance between Rian and these three girls. So having Queen torture them, I know it's like a trauma response, but for me, there was no cue into that torture because they just met randomly. I like to ask why you made that happen because I felt like it could have just been something that could easily just slide since they don't really come up in the book so much. And when she got to meet them for the second time, the third time rather, in the I don't know if it's a mental ward now or a therapy session. I don't know what was really going on right there. So I'd like to ask why the torture had to happen. And also the mating between Rian and Queen. I just remembered now. It was, I don't know, usually mating vampires, werewolves is always, so luxurious. Was it intentional that you, um, maybe you were considering a class of audience and that's why you didn't really let all that intensity into it. Because I just felt like, okay, under the moon, there were other crazy things. Because when vampires meet with humans, according to Google search, there's always that um, problem of would it work, would it not work? I don't know. Is there I feel personally that there's probably a hidden part of the story that was not said. Probably Rian has half vampire blood. Great work altogether. There's no curse word, which is amazing. There's no so much crazy things going on aside for the bloody stuff. So great work altogether. I guess I'd have to wait for the YouTube upload to get my response. But thank you so much. And I'm so sorry that I couldn't be in the meeting in person. Thank you, everybody. You can have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, that's a,
Oh goodness.
that's a recording. I think some of the questions were already answered initially during the book club. I'm not quite sure if you were able to jot our questions down, but I think the only one that
Yeah. Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
you want to give an
So
answer to. Okay, let's hear from you.
okay, so a couple things. Number one, to answer like a few questions at once, about like the simplicity and all, this is like just the beginning. Okay, this is a like a lot of the issues about Rianne's family, like a lot of like the answers that you were, looking for, that is going to be addressed in later books. So actually in the final book of Into the Darkness, um, this isn't going to be too big. The final book of Into This, the series, the backstory series, it's going to end right where this one picks up. So you're able to see that entire, like, you're going to see Rianne growing up. You're going to see for to get enough space to breathe. And I felt like if I just did like some exposition or some like dialogue, and then that would not be enough. So that is why there's going to be such. Now let's talk about me here real quick. So one of the things she asked about was like, stuff working for vampires. That is going to be addressed, and it's going to be addressed. I don't know how I'm going to address it, but the basic answer is I believe that like that sex is many things at once. It is physical, it is emotional, and I think in some instances it could be kind of spiritual. So does vampire plumbing work? Yes, it does, because it's not just physical. It's also emotional and in some cases spiritual. So yeah, that's why it works, and that's going to be explored more in later books, but that's why everything works for vampire. Physical, that's getting it up. It's their bodies work like humans.
I really like the backstories and how they are addressed in their own works because then it allows you to get to know these characters without it cramming up the main story.
Exactly. That's the whole point, because sometimes I've noticed in a lot of books, you'll be reading, and then the story will get very slowed down by these big walls of either exposition or someone giving these really big info dumps, and it just makes the story come to a crawl. So that's why I wanted to that's why I wanted to give these characters, these issues, these other these other aspects their own novel to breathe. So we have enough room to really dig into that.
Mm.
Um, and just to really understand what happened, because I want, again, pacing and just keeping and just giving it enough room to breathe so that the reader could get the full experience rather than just gumming up the pages with this info dump.
That was amazing, really. I love your description of it. It was very great, and thanks for answering Victory's question. Some of the questions were already answered since the start of the conversation. It's so great. We need to wrap up already. We spent like 2 hours, 10 minutes already. Yeah. Somebody left a message in the chat box. You can check it out. I feel that Rayan didn't get the opportunity to process her emotion. I feel she wasn't really hold on. I feel she wasn't really involved in the mating season.
Oh, all of that is going to be very addressed.
Okay.
And when you say mating, do you mean like where Quinn takes her soul, or are we talking sex?
I think it's sex.
Okay, yes, sex. Yeah, yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure
Um,
though. Sega will have to answer that for herself. Efwa rather would have to
yeah.
answer that herself. She may. I'm not sure you love to answer with voice or you're typing. Efwa, would you answer that? Is it sex or is it for? She said both of them.
Yeah. So the so where Quinn, yeah, so where Quinn takes her soul, yeah, so again, that is a really big issue. And an issue like that cannot be dealt with within a few pages.
Mm.
That going to be that's going to be it's going to start to kind of be a little bit addressed in here, and it's going to also be addressed in books 3, 4, 5, and especially book 6. Book 6 is going to be a book where they really dig into some of these issues, because you're right, Quinn did kind of take things really fast with her. And you know what? Some of that was intentional on his part, because he has a lot of toxic traits he needs to work on. Quinn is a very flawed character. He is a flawed character, but at the end of the day, he genuinely cares about her. And he has and there are many instances in Death to the Soul where he messes up, where he doesn't intend, where he doesn't do right by her. It's not intentional, but it is. And you will be seeing consequences to that later on down the road, because it's like, you know, I was thinking about this from Rianne's perspective when I was writing it, and it's like, okay, you just found out that your boyfriend is a serial killer, and he's this scary creature of the night, and he's going to take your soul. The only answer that she could really reasonably give to ensure her safety was yes. And I was also kind of hoping Rianne does struggle with this. She struggles with this transition into this new life. It's not like, oh, I'm the soulmate of a scary Vader now, whoop-de-doo. It's, she takes time to work through her feelings. She does struggle with her new life. She kind of it leads to a bit of grieving of her old life. She's and in book 5 we see some of her family members coming back into the picture, and you can see how she she's gonna start to miss normal, and that is something that I actually struggled with when I got away from my abusers. Normal, or I guess safe, felt very not normal. So so I understand that yeah, a lot of stuff did not get addressed in book one, but that's because these issues are so big and they need that room to breathe to be fully addressed. They need that time because by the end of book one, Rianne is still like just processing this
Yeah, yeah,
huge, a lot of scary
absolutely.
information that, she's been taking in. And it does take multiple books for her to
Yeah,
come to grips with everything that's happened.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Rivers. I would love to put a poll in the group on WhatsApp to see if they would. I would love to put a poll in the WhatsApp group to see if we may have to pick up some the book to later on along the year, yeah, stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
wanted to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined. Thank you, Jonathan Corner, for recommending the book. It's very amazing. And I just thought about it. Why can't we read it for this month Zoom meeting, the book club, since we're meeting virtually? And I jump on it, and it's amazing we're here. Some of the people who read the book couldn't join. There has been a message on the WhatsApp group already. Some Beatrice said someone wanted to send in their questions, but I think time is already gone to take that. They can do that in the comment section when the video is posted on YouTube. Then you can always reply them. Yeah, it's so
Yeah, I'll be
lovely.
there.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you so much, Silent Brightwire. Thank you, Adrian Mekansi. Thank you, Luatosi, Olua Boyegun. Thank you, River Poster, for coming even to attend to the Q&A. It's amazing we are here. It's lovely we could have a conversation around Dead to the Soul. Very lovely and very great. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. This is quite exciting. And I'm expressing my ends of appreciation for coming on to the first ever book club meeting of the Akure Book Club 2025. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Peter,
Yeah.
just one more thing.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you very much for letting me in on this meeting as well, from one YouTuber to another. It's really been a massive honor to do this,
You're
especially
welcome.
to help River get their name out there further. So just thank you for all the help that you're giving.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank both of you so much. It means so much to me.
Yeah, thank you.